said that there's no doubt that every Jew in this generation had the thought of tshuva. It's enough to make a woman need to go through a get, and it's enough to bring Mashiach also. Of course, it's not. Don't use it as an excuse. But when Jewish people in our time went through this generation, the Holocaust and Six-Day War and all different things, Am Yisrael, every Jew had a moment of tshuva, and to make a woman married, that's enough, and also to bring Mashiach, it's enough. For you to realize and feel Mashiach, it's not enough. You have to actually not only commit to tshuva and do it for a moment. You have to actually live a tshuva way of life. But it's no longer the fact that I went back to my evil ways doesn't take away the tshuva. Mitzvahs never disappear. Mitzvah always stays. And the fact that I did tshuva for a moment is something that's recorded, and Hashem looks. The Jewish people did tshuva. Yes, every Jew did tshuva. Some did it for a minute, some for a day, some for a month. But it happened. It doesn't get erased. What happened later, you have to deal with it. You have to deal with it. You have to fix it. You have to clean it up. But it's there. It's on the record. And so that's the idea of tshuva. Tshuva is, so a Rasha wants to get back to Hashem. He has an issue over here. He's not in control of his life. He lost control. His heart, his desires control him. And the way for him to get rid of this way of life is by changing it. Is by doing tshuva. Tshuva is not about fixing particulars. Tshuva is about fixing an approach. We're talking about the lower level of tshuva. We're not talking about higher levels. We're talking about basic level of tshuva. And for a person to start a Rasha, he wants to stop being a Rasha. I want to become a Beinani, and eventually a tzaddik. Yeah. How do I do it? And I want to break out of this addiction to the opposite of good. The only way to do it is tshuva. Tshuva means you recover. You go on the path of recovery. And the Alter Rebbe teaches us how to do it, which is by, sometimes it's using by bitterness, but there's different strategies. But the basic concept is to elevate my soul, which is in exile, and to bring it back to Hashem. And if I leave, I say I'm going to do tshuva on this and not on that, then okay, we had this he was a Jewish student, right? It was Ado, for those in North Korea, he just passed away last week. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They want to return someone from exile, you got to return him whole. Otherwise, it doesn't help.
How do we know they didn't beat him to death?
That's probably what happened. And
know?
when we're saying tshuva, doesn't mean it says I want to return my soul to Hashem, but only part of it. So I'm going to cut off a hand, keep it by me, of my soul, and say I'm going to do tshuva about Shabbos, but not about tefillin. So it's like saying I'm going to put a hand will stay with the Yitzhar, and the brain will go to Hashem. It doesn't work that way. Tshuva means to return everything. The whole Jew means to return to Hashem. Tshuva doesn't mean fixing sins. It means returning to God. And returning to God means everything. And that's the only way you can break out of this, so to speak, addiction to sin. And the way it works is the Yitzhara, the Yitzhara is a trick. Divide and conquer. Yitzhara divides. Be a Jew for some of the day, do certain mitzvahs. That's his trick. When the Yitzhara gets a sense, the truth is he doesn't really have control. He has enough control. He has the only what I want to ask the politician, how much power do you have? So he said, I have as much power as you think I have.
Not enough.
The Yetzer Hara works like that. It has as much power as we think it has. And if we let it control us, using the strategy of divide and conquer, it just says, I'm in control of certain areas. This you could, this you can't. That's the Yetzer Hara's trick. And when Yitzhar realizes I'm doing tshuva, you pull the rug from under its feet. That the Nefesh Abami says when it senses that a Jew is committing every aspect of his life, I am returning to Hashem. Now it doesn't mean that you become perfect in one day. I think we'll end with this story of the Rebbe, also connected to Gimel Tammuz. We're talking about the general commitment. There was once a gentleman who worked in the Israeli embassy in New York. There were boys who would come on Friday to the Mufsayim to put on tefillin. This guy he worked in the security something. It was seems that it was some what do you call it, classified job, but he was handicapped. He was in a wheelchair, and one week he called over the boys that would come to do Miftzayim in the embassy in Manhattan. Had some connections there, and he told them he wants to write a letter to the Rebbe, and he wrote. He had all different issues and with this handicap of his. He's asking the Rebbe for a blessing. They took the letter back to 770. They gave it to the Rebbe's office, and the Rebbe wrote the answer back. I don't remember the exact lines, but the concept was you need to live your life according to Shulchan Aruch. Practical day-to-day behavior according to Shulchan Aruch. This is what the Rebbe wrote. This is the answer. They went back, and it was right away, or next Friday they gave him the Rebbe's answer. He read it. It was very serious, but he wrote back to the Rebbe, no, it's too much for me. So the Rebbe replied back, you should begin with Shabbos. I think Shabbos, Kashrus, and Tefillin, I think it was. And part of Shulchan Aruch is Me'at Gershenu, that the way you deal with, the concept that Hashem told the Jewish people that I'm not going to destroy all the goyim for you when you come to Israel. I'm going to let you do it because I don't want the land to be desolate, and it's going to bring wild animals. So, part of Hashem gave the command, and the same thing applies spiritually. A person wants to do tshuva. This is what I mean. I'm going to just become a. Part of it is to work step by step, to do it gradually, but not because I'm not ready. I'm ready. I accepted Shulchan Aruch. I did tshuva. I returned to Hashem. Part of my journey back is to do things in a gradual way. So in such a case, even if I don't accept everything in one time, as long as and the proof will be that you're working upwards. That you never, whenever you feel, and someone who knows you, honestly could agree that you're not holding there yet, but now you're holding something, and you keep growing. Your approach is upwards. You're going upwards. Then that in itself, going step by step, is a requirement of Shulchan Aruch, a requirement of Torah. So, someone who wants to become a ben, he wants to stop being Rosh, he wants to get back control over his life. So this is the strategy. The Yitzhar, when it feels that the tactic of divide and conquer doesn't work, because I'm not letting you divide. Everything in me is just for Hashem. I don't have any areas in my life which are for myself. I'm not a part-time Jew. I'm a full-time Jew. When the Yitzhar feels that it's a full-time Jew, you destroy it. Its whole trick is an illusion. When you break that illusion, you pop the balloon, it has no control, and things get much easier. The ability to get self-control becomes much easier. So that's the idea of chapter 17 of Tanya.
But it has to be a gradual progression.
It is gradual, but gradual not because I decide, gradual because that's the way it's required for me. That's what Hashem wants from me. And I keep it's gradual. I don't stay on one level. I never get stuck. I never say, okay, I got to where I want to get to. It doesn't work that way. You have to grow. You have to keep growing. You keep growing. That means that when you started to grow, you were really growing. It wasn't that like us. We grow till we're 20 and then we start becoming smaller. Do you have a minion?
Yeah.
Myriam, drink.